Hello, we are Illusion of Fate, and you're watching Antichrist Metal Scene.
Well, I'm Hayden CROWNOVER. I write all the music, I produce the content, I record us, I do pretty much everything with the help of Kevin and Josh, our drummer, our vocalist.
We definitely don't subscribe to a single genre. We take a lot of elements from black metal, atmospheric bands, and then riff styles from death metal and various other forms of music to kind of create our own. We're not really interested in tying ourselves to a single genre. We'd rather make music that accurately expresses how we feel.
There's kind of a question about the band name meaning, so I guess I can field that one. Hayden does a lot of the writing for music and the lyrics, but for where I'm sitting, I came up with the band name Illusion of Fate. I kind of stole the idea. There's in classical philosophy this idea that free will is an illusion. So there's a predetermined path you will follow, but other choices you could have made aren't really there. They're simply an illusion, and I've never really liked that idea. I kind of like the opposite, where I think fate itself is an illusion. I think we, as people, we're born a certain way, or we grow up in a certain place, and we think we can't leave it, and we can't change it. And I think that idea is a lot more destructive. So we called our band Illusion of Fate. I think fate's more an illusion than free will.
Passing the time in quarantine, I am working on new material for us. I've been just practicing my guitar chops, my mixing chops, just really trying to get a foot ahead. I'm just trying to get ahead on everything so that once everything does open up and everything kind of goes back to normal, we can kind of come out swinging. So that's what I've been doing. I don't know about you.
I'm just focusing on art. That's about it.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
I'm one of those insufferable people who's been running outside. We're getting back into running. Yeah. And a lot of video games. And working a bit with what Hayden's been sending me, working on the drum parts and stuff.
Well, for behind the lyrics, I mean, really the only one that's a little bit separate from the rest of them would be as Animal's Dream. I wrote that as kind of like a when my dog passed away, I kind of wrote that as a way to kind of comfort myself. So that's what those lyrics are about. The rest of them are kind of more along the lines of artificial life and how it's integrating into our world, and it's just more of an observation of that.
When I wrote the lyrics for Artificial Dawn, I was thinking of more of like a dystopian wasteland of maybe what if this is all a simulation and we're currently just in birthing pods right now, and when we die we wake up into ashes and waste and cybernetics and basically essentially just like the plot of the Matrix.
Yeah, but we felt it still fit, so
yeah.
with the overall arcing theme.
Yeah.
But what I like about the cover art for this record, again, I had nothing to do with making it. The original, I know Hayden did the original that I think ended up as the cover for the single Artificial Dawn, and then it was sent to somebody for something, and we got the actual one back, which I still like. But I think the cover art really shows our thought process when we were making it. The original for Artificial Dawn, the main focus is that skull shape in the left side. And that in the original was very organic. It was made out of rocks and moss and sort of parts of a tree, and it feels very organic and real. And as we changed it, as we started putting the EP together, the new one came out, and we purposely made it more mechanical. Now it's rusting, and it's made out of metal, and a new town was added on the right side that's very sharp and industrial and metallic feeling, and it's sort of showing that blending of, we had something that was organic and very real, and sentient, you could say, if you needed to use that word, and now it's becoming more mechanical, and sort of showing those two things blending together. And I think that got at the heart of the concept we were hitting for this EP, Not there's a whole narrative in it or anything, but there's sort of a concept of drawing that line between machines and mechanical thinking and that very organic feel. And the history of the album art even shows that. So I thought that was interesting as this came together.
Do we think it's important to have a label deal these days?
Well, I think it is and it isn't. I mean, at our stage, we're definitely fine doing a DIY, and we can go pretty far DIY, I think. If we get a label backing us, that's a wider audience that we can reach a lot quicker. We can hop on tours and bigger shows a lot easier. But for right now, since we're kind of fresh in the game, I think we don't need one right now unless somebody hears our stuff and really likes it, hit us up. But right now, DIY is definitely the way to go.
I don't understand anything about anything with the business stuff.
I still stand firm with the internet. I don't believe it's 100% necessary to have a label. I feel like a label helps bridge a gap and gets funding, which definitely necessary. I think a lot of bands make a mistake by signing contracts, though, that they don't know anything about. I guess if I had to put something into my own words, I'm interested in more of a partnership rather than signing to a label. I would like to know that that we own everything.
Yeah, that they want to help us grow as an artist.
Scheduled postponed tour gigs. We had a couple shows set up locally around where we're from in Milwaukee. COVID-19 kind of took all of that out. We do have other shows in the works now that things are opening back up. Nothing is 100% certain right now. I mean, I think the whole quarantine brought about the most uncertain time of the year anyways, so it's, if we can, I mean, I'm confident we'll bounce back. Once everything starts to ease back into it, we'll be able to bounce back, but we did have a bunch of shows that got canceled, which was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, we're working on getting those back up and running, rescheduled, but if anyone needs a band for their tour, for their shows, like, hit us up. Find us on Facebook, Instagram.
Heavy music album that impressed me a lot, and why?
Well, honestly, anything off of Everlasting's View Records is awesome. Shout out to Tito, the dude's killing it. To Cattle Decap's new album the other day, like yesterday actually. And that album blows me away every time. I love it. It's amazing. Right there. Love it.
I haven't really found anything recently that's impressed me. I tend to find myself going back to older albums, finding new bands from different eras that I haven't necessarily heard before, and then striking an interest in them. I feel like when I come to music, I want to know the history behind the music anyway, so it's like an older band, if I find them, even if they're underground, there's still something more there. They have a story that's already laid out, and that's kind of more interesting to me. As far as new albums go, I haven't really been following releases, so.
Yeah, for me, recent heavy metal album, I don't know. I tend to go with the older stuff. Death. I would even consider, like, I guess Cradle of Filth, some of the newest stuff I listen to. Black Dahlia Murder. Allegion's been pretty solid, but, like, I'll usually throw on Death, Metallica, Slayer.
Plans for the near future. I guess this is where we probably could talk about.
Well, we're putting up a song on our Bandcamp for free, as a result of COVID, because then we figured why the hell not. But our EP is still available. We are working diligently on future releases. We got another single coming later this year, probably in the fall, we're thinking. And we got another EP that we are working, again, diligently on. That, I think we're going to drop towards the end of the year. Again, that all kind of falls in line with playing shows. If we can, get on some tours or some festivals or whatever. So if anyone who hears our music really likes us and knows of a show looking for a band or a tour looking for another band, hit us up. We would be more than happy to hop on that bill.
We have a pretty decent catalog of music in the works right now.
We
So
got a lot of stuff.
things will come.
Like I said before, I've been very busy during this quarantine, so we got a lot of stuff coming.
We are Illusion of Fate. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, just about all music streaming platforms. Check us out on Bandcamp, where you can find our EP, our debut EP, Emerging Sentience. Appreciate if you pick that one up, and keep an eye out for us, because we're not going anywhere.
That's right. Bam! That was solid.